Welcome back to Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Menti. The black bears are out of hibernation and they're out and about in New Jersey, scouring for food, which has led to many close encounters. Do you know that there has been a black bear sighting this spring in every county in New Jersey? That's why Phil Brodhecker of the New Jersey Fish and Game Council is imploring Governor Murphy to bring back the bear hunt.
Hi, and thank you so much for your time. We wanted to talk to you today because there was a recent report that there have been black bear sightings now in all 21 counties of New Jersey and that the population has increased. Why do you think that is?
Well, we have a very prolific bear population in North Jersey, and they've just been expanding to where there's not enough room for them up here. So they're moving throughout the whole state. We've got an abundance of food sources for them, a very diverse habitat for them. It was inevitable. We knew it was going to happen. And there's no control as far as the population that's able to keep up with the way the population growth is.
Right. There's two distinct sides on this. If you talk to animal rights people, if you talk to many environmentalists, they say this is a good thing that the bear population is coming back. What is your position on it?
Well, I love seeing the bears. They're beautiful animals. They're a magnificent resource we have up here, but something has got to keep the numbers in population. Every other state is using a hunting season to reduce the population and to keep it in check. And as far as I'm aware, that's really the only means of limiting growth and reducing a population. There's no other viable mean to reduce a population of bears.
Governor Murphy ended the bear hunt. He is saying, his administration is saying the increase on bears is due to the fact of actually a few reasons, but one of the main reasons is because of the pandemic and because there was more open spaces, there was less intervention by people, and so they felt more free to roam out. Does that make sense to you?
No. A population growth is a population growth. I think it's directly correlated to food and habitat. And we have an abundance of both of those in New Jersey, and bear populations are growing. We've got the largest black bears in the world. We've got the highest number of cubs per bear in the world. It's inevitable that exponentially it's at a growing rate that we can't keep up with. The biggest challenge in New Jersey with any population control is access to where they are. And the past 2 to 3 years, the governor has limited access and prevented any hunting from state lands. So it really limited the amount of bear that can be harvested. And that's also contributed to the expansion of the population.
Right. That was another reason. I said there was several reasons the Murphy administration has given for the increase in the population and the increase in the sightings and human interaction. It's because they say they increased state land. And also, and this is the one that perplexes me, they said that many of the bears moved here from New York and Pennsylvania because there was too much population density in those states. From what I understand, New Jersey is the most densely populated state in the country. It doesn't seem like this would be the best place to move if you were trying to get away from people. Well, get your reaction.
Well, you'd think so, but I don't think the bears contemplate, oh, there's people there, I don't think I'll move in. That doesn't seem to bother them when there's plenty of habitat still. They'll den up under people's porches. There's plenty of woods and browse and a lot of different forage sources for them. So, they have moved in and the population has grown exponentially with limitations on its growth. So I'm glad to see that Governor Murphy is acknowledging we have a large population and that it's continuing to grow. I just really am curious as to what his propositions are to prevent excessive growth or to reduce the population to a reasonable carrying capacity.
And why is that important?
It really damages a lot of farm crops. It damages a lot of private property owners' property. I just had a customer call me the other day that had their chicken coop raided, ripped the chicken coop right apart, just tore the wall off of it. it was during the day also. And that's quite common this time of the year where chicken coops are just demolished. Farmers are using electric fences to deter bears from their beehives, from their chicken coops, from livestock. So they're causing a lot of damage to any landowner, whether it's a farmer or just a residential person who's the bears coming and raiding their bird feeders, raiding their garbage cans, breaking into sheds to access garbage. They just cause a lot of damage on residential communities when you have a larger population than what the habitat can handle.
From what I understand, bears don't want to have encounters with people either. They're just looking for food. And so if you have food in your backyard, like a chicken coop or something in your garage, they're going to come and get it, right? They're not deterred by anything.
Correct. They're a creature of opportunity. They prefer to avoid people contact, but if there's access to a food source, they're going to take the easiest food source they can access. And that's their main motive for food sources. And, in the springtime here, there's really not a lot of wild food sources out there for them. Most of the berries and nuts and things like that they foraged on over the winter or last fall. During the winter, they were denned up, but most of the fall forages have been consumed over the winter. So in the spring, there's a lot of new growth, but it doesn't have the nuts and the berries and the hard type stuff that they like. So they're eating more of the cabbages and green matter, and they're searching more for food sources. And that's why you see a lot more of the interactions in the springtime, because they came out of the den, they're hungry, and they're searching for food, and there's only so much out there for them.
Right. We're in the thick of bear season right now, right? This is when we're going to see a lot of more black bears. This is when
absolutely. When they cause the most damage.
And this is when they cause the most damage?
Yep.
And so it was interesting to me that I know you want the bear hunt back and you believe it's the best way to keep down the bear population. But if the bears don't prove to be a threat to humans, except to maybe wildlife or to farmland, is it really necessary?
Well, who's going to bear the expense that it costs property owners and farmers? I mean, we have crop damage in our corn, apple trees, fruit trees, tremendous damage to those types of crops come summer into fall, and then livestock this time of the year. It's so who's going to bear the expense of that? Should it all fall on the landowners and the farmers' expense? And then there have been people killed in New Jersey. There's been other people that have been attacked by black bears. So at what length do we want to tolerate or allow that too? No, it was only one person, but to me, that's too much.
Right. And your concern is as the bear population increases, they're going to have less place to roam. They'll make themselves more public and there'll be more interaction and possibly more attacks.
Absolutely. When there's a hunt to reduce a population, you get a higher number of those problem bears that are harvested, and it does reduce the problem bears as much as the regular population. They seem to be an easier target and an easier capture because they aren't afraid of people. They're going in areas where they really shouldn't be. And some of them are hard to get during the hunting season because they travel in unhuntable areas. They're garbage eating bears, and they're very difficult to manage that way too. If someone else could provide a way to reduce the population and keep it in check to where it's manageable, farmers, landowners aren't sustaining excessive losses. We understand we're going to have some encounters, we're going to have some losses, and I don't mind that. I like seeing the bears. They're a beautiful creature, and I'll interact with them. But when it gets to where it's devastating my viable production, it really hurts.
Is there a mating season for bears, and are they more dangerous during that season?
Yes, there is a mating season. I'm not sure exactly the time frame from when it is. Usually your mother's protecting cubs or what's a dangerous time. Bears have the potential to be dangerous all year round, whether they're foraging for a food source in the late summer and fall, trying to bulk up for the winter, whether it's spring when they come out and hungry. If you're going to encounter them and interact or get in their way of a food source or interrupt their interactions with their cubs, they're going to be dangerous any time of the year.
It's amazing the number of bears that there are in New Jersey, and we haven't had that many attacks. I think the last time there was a death from an attack was when a jogger was killed, right? Just a few years ago. But there haven't been that many interactions, right?
There's a lot of interactions, physical contact where they're injuring people, probably not a lot. No.
Right, because again, they want to get out of there. But that's not your main point. Your main point is the property damage and the crops. What do you think are the chances, as long as Governor Murphy is in office, of the bear hunt coming back? And if it doesn't come back, what do you see the future as?
Well, from what Governor Murphy said, I think it's pretty slim chance, but I think it's a shame that our governor's not able to manage resources and work with the public and address problems, which he's already acknowledged there's a problem. If he comes up with a better solution to reduce the population, I'm open to hearing it, but there's got to be something done with an overpopulation. And his job's not to make personal decisions because he doesn't want to see the bear shot, but his job's to help manage our resources as our governor and take care of all the community, all the citizens of this state. Sometimes the hardest decisions to make aren't always the most popular when you're in politics. So I hope he can recognize that there's a problem, and I hope he comes up with some solutions to work with the Division of Fish and Wildlife, because something's got to be done to keep the population reduced and managed to where it's at a safe level. We're not going to eliminate the bear population. There's a lot of them out there. There's no need to. It just needs to be managed to a controlled level that's going to be manageable as far as public interactions, private landowners, and the carrying capacity of the land.
Sarah, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Phil Brodhecker, New Jersey Fish and Game Council. Still to come on Jersey Matters, his search for Adam Sandler made him the lead this week in the New York Post. We'll talk with the New Jersey native next.